Thank you, Wes. Well, I hope you're having fun tonight. I hope this has been great. The food was delicious. It didn't read my face, so I need to enter my password. Sorry. But I hope you're having fun. I hope it's been a great evening. This is one of my favorite nights, if not my favorite night of the year, when we get to come together and do this. I look forward to it every year. I know that there will be students here. I know that there will be alumni here. I know that there will be parents here. I know there will be people that have been invested in Front Porch well before I came into the picture. I know that there are people here who are hearing about Front Porch for the first time, and I just think it's a beautiful evening of coming together around this thing that, like Wes just said, I think is this beautiful idea that so many people have made happen. So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, Wes already said this, thank you, Ashton, for providing the absolute beautiful music. Thank you to Wes for being the MC and agreeing to my request, even though it was short notice. Thank you to our wonderful speakers, Erica and Mike and Emily and Will, and just the perspectives that you all had and shared with us about this thing that we're doing called Front Porch. Emily and Will both shared their speeches with me prior to what they were going to say, and I sat in my office reading them individually on different days, and I think I told them both. I was sitting in my office in tears, hearing their words and their descriptions of this thing that they have both been a part of. Thank you to our board members who are here tonight. I think the ones that are here are Susan, Al, Mike, and Monty. So thank you to them. Thank you to our staff, Callie, Sophie, Elena, and Cam. Also Dom, I'm going to talk about her in a second though. But Callie, Sophie, Elena, and Cam are amazing, amazing people that I have the privilege of getting to work with every single day. And so much, I tell people I love going to work. There's never a day when I don't wake up and not want to go to work. I love what I do. And I know that I'm incredibly lucky in that regard. And part of that is the staff that I get to work with. And I love the staff that I get to work with this year. And so the four of them did so much to make tonight happen, and all of the little details coming together in the past couple weeks. So thank you to them. Yes, thank you. Thank you to Charlie, my dear friend, who procured the wine for tonight. Charlie. He, over all of the years that I've been doing this, every year for this event, he comes up with the wine and he finds it. A special shout out to two particular wineries, Harmony Cellars and Castoro Cellars, for donating some of the wine tonight. But Charlie, thank you for making that happen. Who's next? Savannah. Where's Savannah at? Hi, Savannah. Savannah, who did all of the beautiful floral arrangements, and to Madison and Renee, who I saw assisting her yesterday as well. But thank you, Savannah, for making that happen. Yes, thank you. Our beautiful venue, the people that are working tonight, thank you for being here. Thank you for being such hospitable people. You have been amazing to work with. This is our second time doing it at this venue, and one of the things we love the best is just how great you all are to work with, so thank you. And then an incredibly special thanks to someone who is not here, but a dear friend of mine and our associate director, Dom Floyd, who put so much planning and organization into making tonight possible prior to going on leave at the end of September to have her and Barrett's first child. But she set me up to succeed. She left so many detailed notes and spreadsheets and different things, and then had meeting after meeting after meeting with me to make sure that I would not get anything wrong. And she is an amazing person, and I was texting her earlier today how hard it was going to be at this event without her. I love her dearly, and this is one of her favorite things that she does every year is to put this thing on. But I'll report that the two, Barrett and her and their little baby Fletcher, are doing amazing, and they're doing really well. So thank you, Dom. And last, I'd like to thank the people who, as I tell them every Wednesday, if they didn't come to Front Porch, we wouldn't do this. If they didn't come on Wednesday night, we wouldn't do the free meal. If they didn't come and fill the space every day, we wouldn't do the free coffee. And that is to the students, who there are some here tonight, but they represent thousands more who take part in Front Porch regularly. And so I just want to thank you, all you students who are here tonight. I love you all dearly and appreciate you so much. And thank you for giving up your Saturday to be here with us tonight. Well, it is truly a joy to be alive. To be alive at this particular moment in time together. A time when comets that only enter the orbit of our planet once every 80,000 years were visible a couple weeks ago. Did anyone get a chance to see the comet? Or a few of you? 2, 3? I am so envious. I wanted to see it so bad, and then my son came home from a hike, and he had a picture, and he caught a picture of it on his phone, and I was so incredibly jealous. A time when the Dodgers and Yankees are playing in the World Series once again, and thank goodness the Dodgers were victorious. I know there's a couple people here who even got to go to the parade yesterday, so very cool. A time in Front Porch's history where we have been doing this thing called Front Porch for 20 years. This is Front Porch's 20-year anniversary. And here's what's so wild about tonight. The comet that I just referenced, sure, it's a once-in-a-lifetime type event, which is why people were so fascinated by it. But it's happened before. Sure, it was 80,000 years ago, but it's happened before, right? And in theory, it's going to happen again in another 80,000 years. None of us, obviously, are going to be around to see it. There's a chance there's no humanity at that point that's left to see it, hopefully, but you never know. But it will happen again. But this right here, some of you already know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say, those of you who know what I'm going to say?
Never going to be in the same spot again.
This will never happen again. This exact thing that is happening here tonight, it is a once in the history of the universe type event. Yes, the Front Porch fundraiser will happen again. But this gathering of people will never happen again in the history of the universe. So take a second to let that sink in. You know how everyone was fascinated with this comet? That's happened before. It'll happen again. This is one time in the history of our universe. The probability of us existing at all, let alone all being gathered together tonight, is incredibly incalculable. So take it all in, soak it in, look at the people sitting across from you, look at the people around the table. This is a magical, magical night, and it matters immensely. Front Porch's 20-year history actually had its beginnings around in the early 1950s when some people had this crazy idea to purchase a home and the fields behind it right next to Cal Poly's campus. And then in 2004, some other people along the way had another crazy idea to build a multi-million-dollar space where that home stood and call the whole thing Front Porch. And then this other person came along 12 years ago and had the crazy idea to open the doors to everyone and change the vision from one where we were trying to get more people to be like us to one where we simply loved people. And not just kind of loved them, but really truly loved them in a tangible way that had the power to change their lives forever and help them experience more of what it means to be human, more of what it means to be alive. As I said last year at this moment in my remarks, this whole thing we do called Front Porch is built upon the life and teachings of this person named Jesus. So I'm going to talk about Jesus for a moment, and hopefully everyone is okay with that. Those of you who are not religious, don't worry, I'm not trying to convert you. But Jesus is pretty important to me personally and has shaped the course of my life and the life of this organization. So here we go. There's the story in the accounts of Jesus' life where the Jewish rabbi Jesus was walking through the fields with his followers on the Sabbath day, a day in the Jewish faith tradition that has some very strict rules and laws about what can and cannot be done on that day. And his followers were incredibly hungry as they were walking along, and so they were picking heads of wheat in the field that they happened to be walking through and eating them, something that you were not supposed to do on that day. The religious leaders standing nearby got upset with Jesus as they were watching this, and they said, "How could you allow this? Are you crazy?" And he pretty much said to them, "Don't you understand that there are things that are more important in this life that you have been given than your religion?" The story then tells us that he goes into the religious leader's synagogue, their place of worship, and heals this man's hand that had been withered. And can you guess how the same religious leaders in the story respond? They're upset, again, talking about the rules and the laws of their religion. The story ends with Jesus talking to a crowd of people, and the story tells us that in the midst of Jesus speaking, his mom and brothers were trying to get his attention to say something to him. And someone in the crowd says, "Look, it's your mom and your brothers, it's your family." And Jesus says, "Who is my mom? Who is my brother? Who is my family?" And he looks at the people who had been following him around and he said, "This is my mom. These are my brothers and sisters. This is my family." In this story and others written about him, Jesus reconstitutes what family looked like and meant in the time period in which he lived. He wasn't suggesting, I don't think, that his biological family was bad by any means, but he was pushing people to imagine a much broader and more inclusive understanding of the concept of family. Jesus lived in a period of time where people like to clearly define this from that, us from them, Jew from non-Jew, man from woman, rich from poor, healthy from sick, insider from outsider, family from not family. As a first century practicing Jew, Jesus would have been expected to marry and have a child, and yet he chooses to remain single. He placed his new understanding of family far above any societal and religious understanding of family that existed. A family with unashamed, accepting, inclusive love as the foundation. Jesus built a family based on radical love and inclusion for marginalized people whose family had never showed them that they mattered, had never truly loved them. Jesus provided family for those who had never fully experienced acceptance, love, and worth, and he invited and encouraged others to go out in the world and provide the exact same thing for others. That sense of family for them, looking high and low, far and wide for people who needed to experience family in such a way. 19 years ago today, I was sitting in a hospital room in the maternity wing at the top of a tower of Verdugo Hills Hospital in Glendale, California. I was with Christy, who had just given birth to our first child the day prior, Audrey Joy. And sitting in that hospital room, holding this tiny little human, all I could think about was how much I wanted her to grow up in an environment where she was loved, where she was safe, where she was known, where she was free to be who she was meant to be, who she wanted to be in this world, where she was celebrated for who she was and not asked to conform or made to feel as though she had to pretend to be something else, where she knew that she was of immense worth and value because she existed as a human being. And you know, I think, and I'm going to I guess this is arrogance in a sense. I guess maybe it's pride. And I think Christy and I did a pretty darn good job of letting her know that and instilling those beliefs in her. About a month and a half ago, we took Audrey to college at UCSB. We pulled up in the front of her massive 10-story dorm, loaded all of her stuff in those little bins with wheels. We went up the elevator to the top of the north tower of her new dorm. We got her room set up. We then went shopping to get some other things. We walked through campus. We went out to dinner. And then the moment I had been dreading came. We left her in her dorm room, and the door closed behind us, and we went back down the elevator, and we drove home. And as I was driving home, all those exact same thoughts came back to me that I had when she was first born. I just wanted her to find a community, a family of people that she could be connected to, that accepted her exactly as she was, where she could be herself, where she could be known, where she could be safe, where she could be loved, where she could grow and experience new ideas, and a community in which she could also learn and practice doing the exact same for other people. For her was family, because I knew that she was no longer going to be surrounded by ours every day. Isn't this what we all want as human beings? Not just for our kids or our grandkids or our nieces or nephews or our siblings or our friends' kids, but for ourselves. We want to be known. We want to be accepted. We don't want to have to pretend to be something that we are not. We want to belong. We want to be loved. We want to be a part of a family. This is the profoundness of what Front Porch is and what it does every single day. We run a free coffee house, a community space where our priority as an organization is love. And if I'm honest, sometimes it's really hard to put into words all the things that Front Porch is and does every single day, but I'm hoping tonight that you're getting a little taste, a glimpse of that. Yesterday, after our staff locked up Front Porch, I noticed a student with her parents peering in through the glass doors. It's Parents' Weekend this weekend at Cal Poly. And I immediately went and I unlocked the doors and said, "Come in, feel free to look around." But I had a lot to do, so I kind of let them in and said, look, the daughter knew exactly, she was a part of Front Porch, so she knew her way around, and was showing her parents around as I went back to my office to get some things done. But I overheard the dad asking the daughter, and I could tell that he was wrestling with trying to figure out what exactly Front Porch was. And he kept pushing her. He says, "But what is it? What do you do here?" So often I think we struggle to understand things that don't produce in the way that society oftentimes demands. We at Front Porch give away free coffee. We create a space where students, and this has already been said multiple times tonight by many people, but where they can just be, where they can be met with the most extravagant love and hospitality they have ever experienced before, where we reimagine with them what family can look like. We do it for those who have been lucky enough to come out of an environment like Audrey's, and their family was just going to look a little bit different now that they were at college for 4 or 5 years, as well as for those who need to experience a reimagined family for the first time, who are coming out of environments where they had not been fully accepted, not loved completely. And we value their story and believe that they immediately have something profound to contribute to our community. Why? Because that's what every single human being deserves. And that's how we believe at Front Porch profound growth and transformation happen in an individual's life, when they are genuinely loved. Over the past 20 years, Front Porch has turned into a community that has over 500 students come be a part of its space every single day, where we are at max capacity most hours that we are open. Thousands of students per week, over 180 volunteers helping to make it run every single day. And we just keep providing space and opportunities for students to feel connected, known, and loved. We reimagine family through our weekly community meals, our regular camping trips, our open mic nights, our volunteer breakfasts, our weekly run club, our card-making Mondays, and a whole lot of other things we do, and students' lives are changed. They feel more connected to themselves, to others, their community, the world around them, to the divine, than they ever have before in their lives. But in order for all this to happen, we had to reimagine what family would look like, and choose to be a family that upheld the values of love, acceptance, growth, adaptability, hospitality, and kindness above anything else. I have now been at Front Porch for just about 12 years. And for those of you who are math people, numbers people, I have devoted 27% of my life to this organization. And I have been all in from day one. I have poured all of myself into it because I believe in it with every ounce of who I am. That every single person, all of us, need community like Front Porch in our lives. And I could not have done it without so many of you who are in this room tonight, and so many people who are not in this room tonight, who laid the groundwork going back to the 1950s for this thing that Front Porch has now become. Although I wish we were able to provide something like Front Porch for everyone, the reality is we are lucky enough to get to provide it for the few thousand college students each year in this small corner of the planet called San Luis Obispo. Think of all the change that has happened that began in small corners of the world throughout history. Front Porch is busier than ever. There are more people who are a part of it today than any time before in its 20-year history. How incredible is that? And every year we keep having to raise a significant amount of money to keep this thing called Front Porch Slow running. We need the extended Front Porch family, that's one of the reasons why we do this event, to make it happen again and again and again. Our budget for 2024, this year that we are in, is $380,000. Every year, and this might surprise some of you, every year we plan for about 45% of our budget to come in between November 1st and the end of December. So our target for the next 60 days is $175,000. We once again have this incredibly generous anonymous donor who, it feels like year after year after year, gives a significant sum of money to have as a matching gift. This year he gave us a $50,000 matching gift, which will hit in 2025's budget. So what I would love to see happen tonight is for us not only to match that $50,000 gift, but for us to far exceed it. So that combined with tonight's giving and our upcoming Giving Tuesday campaign that you will also hear about, and our year-end giving, we will make budget once again. Last year, just for reference, at this event, we were able to raise $97,000. I won't lie, it is a little nerve-wracking getting to this point in the calendar year and this happening year after year and being, so to speak, this far behind in the budget. But everyone has always stepped up, and I expect no different this year because I believe in your generosity. The students at your table believe in your generosity, and I believe in this family and what it's capable of. Believe me, it is money well spent. What other organization is accomplishing what we are doing? Loving and accepting and affirming this generation in such a profound way that our space is beyond capacity every hour of every day. A space that daily gives each student one, and Wes I think called it a hug, but one giant loving hug, one giant loving embrace. Giving them a reimagined understanding of family, providing what parents like me long for their child. Front Porch is a conduit through which the divine love flows every single day. Your giving is an investment that is truly transforming students' lives in a way like I have never seen by any other organization. And I hope to see it continue. And I am guessing you do too. So first of all, thank you for coming tonight. I am so thankful for each and every one of you for giving up your Saturday, your weekend. I know many of you traveled to get here. Thank you for taking the time to come and be here and celebrate Front Porch with us and also imagine about what the future looks like. So please give tonight whatever you can. Give freely, give generously, so that students, thousands of them, most of whom you will probably never meet, can experience a family so profound that their life is forever changed and our world is made a better place. Thank you.